click or at a same place is called the PaaS, right? Platform as a service. All right. So how it works means like this is a platform. The background is a platform where you are configuring all the service on that platform, and sometimes the communication and all the things will take care automatically by the platform. You don't need to care about to allowing the communication and to worry about the security groups and all. Okay, everything will done by the this platform only. If it is a platform, the background is a platform, and you are what you need to do, you just need to choose whatever the like the EC2 instance type you want to use, right? If you want to customize your security group, you can just edit a particular security group customization and all. Okay, so this kind of service is called the PaaS. All right. So Elastic Beanstalk is a PaaS environment, or you can say the PaaS service, which is offered by the AWS. Okay. So I think it is better now to understand what is Elastic Beanstalk. All right. Mm, wait. So let's start. See means like how it look like. Okay. So I am creating Elastic Beanstalk in our North Virginia region. All right. So I am just creating everything as a default. Okay, and in the organization you can also create the Elastic Beanstalk through the web console like this, or you can create through the any automation tool like the cloud formation or Terraform. Okay, so once you click on the get started with the Elastic Beanstalk, you will get something like this. First you need to define the application name. All right, so again here is a small concept. Okay, so what is the application and what is the environment? All right, so application is something like let's say you are working in an organization where you have a application which is like any application which is written on the Java. Okay, and that particular application is responsible to host your website. All right, and let's say this application is called the front end or something, any like the CMS or anything you can call in your organization only. All right, so the application would be same on all the environments. If I'm saying the environment, that means like the dev environment, okay, the QA environment, the stage environment, all right, and the production environment. These all are the environments which is servers, right? Any EC2 instances is called the environments, and application is something like whatever your developers are developing is called the application. Okay, so in the Elastic Beanstalk, your application name would be same always, because definitely in your organization at every environment, whatever the environment, it is dev, QA, stage or prod, the application would be same, right? So first you need to define your application name. Okay, and inside the application you are going to create the environment one by one. All right, any confusion? Okay, so here first we are going to create application. I am creating this application as a name demo tech, right? Let's assume this is my application which is running in my organization. Okay, then the inside the base configuration, you need to choose the platform, right? Platform means like okay, your applications are running on which platform you are choosing to deploy your application code and all. Okay, so since we are focusing on the Docker multi containers, all right, so for our project we are going to choose the multi container Docker. Okay, but if like you are working in any organization and that particular organizations are not using Docker, all right, but they are just planning to use the you know elastic beanstalk. Okay, and they have kind of java application or php application. You can choose here, from here only, right? So what it will do, it will automatically once they launch the ec2 instance, it will automatically install the prerequisites, like whatever the prerequisites needed to run the php. Okay, it is already launched a php instance for you. Okay, similarly for python and tomcat and whatever the application you needed. All right, so let's choose the platform multi-container docker. So if it is a multi-container docker, that means there will we are choosing a in ec2 instance where docker is already installed, and there are more than one containers are running. All right, let's say this is a php container and this is a nginx containers. So if it is a more than one container, it is called the multi container environment. All right. Yep. And at the very first time, since we don't have any code to deploy, so we are choosing the sample application, right? But if in your organization you have some code to deploy on your uh, environment, you can choose it from here, right? Upload the zip or war file from here. So let's continue with the default option, sample application, and click on the configure more option. Okay, then we can describe each and every piece. Okay, so first thing is software. So we are not going to currently modify this particular platform, but since it is called, means like whatever the software configuration you have, you can define it from here, like the logs path, uh, right? What kind of log you want to print in your CloudWatch, means like what is the duration of retention of the logs, means like after 7 days the log will deleted, or 3 days or 5 days, whatever days you want to store your logs in your CloudWatch. All right, so we are currently we are not going to modify it, but if you working on in a production environment, you should take care about this. Here we are going to use like, okay, just give me a second. uh, yeah. No, we don't need to create any ec2 instance. um, it will automatically, means like elastic beanstalk will take care everything, right? You don't need to I already told you, means like you don't need to create any ec2 instance, the database instance and all right. Yes. So in the instance section, if you have some, different kind of requirement, let's say you want to run your production environment in any kind of EC2 instance, right? It's like M2 large or some big requirement you have, you can choose it from here in the drop down. All right. So for R&D purpose, we are going to use the T2 micro only. You can also choose your, custom AMI ID here. If you have any AMI in your account, you can choose it from here, so that it every, means like every time your AMI would be same. Similarly, here you can choose the, root volume type, which kind of EBS volume you want to use. All right, and the security group, whatever the security group you want to use. Okay, so I'm going to use ec2 demo. I In that security group, it is just an 22 port is allowed. Okay, if you are not choosing it, it will automatically create a security group for you. Okay, and in the capacity section, here you can define uh, what kind of in ec2 instance you, means like want to run. You want to run in like auto scaling load balancing, or if you want to run a single instance. Okay, if you choose the load balancing, okay, then you need to define the minimum instance and maximum instance. Okay, how many instance you want to run at least. So in the load balancer, definitely there will be minimum requirement is 2, and the maximum it would be like 4. Okay. So, and you can also define all this load balancer thing here. It's like the scaling, when scaling should be trigger. Okay, if it is, you need to choose the metric type. Metric type is something like you are putting a condition. Okay, so let's see, my CPU utilization is like greater than this threshold. This is a upper threshold. Okay, and this is a like you can say like the load on your CPU. Okay, this it is a 6 lakh or 60,000. I'm not sure. So this is something like you are defining the condition in your scaling trigger policy. Okay, but this is only applicable if you are choosing the load balance. Environment type is load balance. If you are choosing the single instance, right, then it will launch a single instance for you. It will not ask you any auto scaling and anything. So what it will do, it will just launch a EC2 instance for you, and it will attach a elastic IP in that EC2 instance. That's it. Yes, and here once you, if since we are choosing here the single instance, so that's why load balancer column is blank. But if we are going to choose a auto scaling thing here, then you can see here the load balancer configuration and all. Okay, and similarly here in the rolling updates and deployment, this is the deployment type. Okay, means like let's see, if you have in a production environment, let's say you have 4 instances running in your production. Okay, 1 2 3 4. So what kind of deployment type you want to choose? Means like definitely you don't want to deploy your code on every machine. If you are deploying your code at every machine in a single click, right? So what will happen, definitely there will be a downtime, right? Because whenever the deployment is going on every machine, the machine should not be serve any type of content, all right, because the older code is replacing with the new code. So that's why it will it will give you some downtime. All right, so to remove this kind of issues, like if you want to use the zero downtime, right, let's say this is a 4 EC2 instance and you want to deploy your code on first 2 instance. Okay, then when these 2 instances will up and running, then you want to deploy your code on the rest of the instances. All right, so this kind of deployment process is called the rolling update. Okay, so here in the in this section, deployment section, you can choose whatever the deployment type you want to use, all at once or immutable. So if you choose the immutable, it will automatically deploy your code on the rolling updates, right? It's like one by one. All right, and in the security group, in the security, not security group, in the security section, you are just defining your key pair, right? What kind of key you have, the EC2. It is a similar, means like whatever you are created in the key pair section in the dashboard of EC2, you are just choosing out here. All right, and in the service role, uh, it is automatically generated by the Elastic Beanstalk, so you don't need to worry about that. And in the profile, it will automatically create a profile for your EC2 instance. So this is something where Elastic Beanstalk and the EC2 instance both can do some operation, do some action on other services of AWS on behalf of you. Okay, so we are going to see what kind of actions they are taking care. And in the monitoring section, this is completely referring the CloudWatch matrices. Okay, so just leave it uh, like default one in your production environment also. You don't need to change each and every part. And the notification, let's see, if you want to get notified from the Elastic Beanstalk, what kind of action is performing on the Elastic Beanstalk. Let's say like the deployment is going on, your instance is down, or your URL is not accessible. If you want to this kind of notification from Elastic Beanstalk, you just need to put your email ID, all right, and you will get notified by the Elastic Beanstalk once any action is performed by the Elastic Beanstalk. Okay. Similarly, if you have a custom VPC, definitely in the production environment, you should have a VPC. Okay, so you can choose it from here. Whatever the VPC you have, you can choose it. For now, we are not going to choose any VPC. We are going to proceed with the default one. So, yes, first go with the default one. Okay, once you deploy all the codes in the project, and you will get idea about the basic things, means like how project is basically working. You worked on the end-to-end solutions, then only you can go with the uh, means like the custom VPC. Also use the auto scaling, load balancer, and every customization thing. Okay, but I recommend you first thing, you need to go with the defaults only. Okay, so that you will get some idea about how the things are working. All right. Yes. And here you can choose the public IP address if you want to use the public IP for the EC2 instance. Okay, but this is only recommended, means like if you are running your EC2 instance in a standalone mode. All right, but and if you are not running your EC2 instance in a standalone mode and you have a custom VPC option, then you don't need to choose the public IP address here. Okay, standalone is something like you are running a single instance machine in your in your production environment, right? You are not running any kind of load balancer or anything. Okay, so that kind of thing is called the standalone environment. So there will be one EC2 instance which are serving your production environment, but this is not recommended also, because nobody wants to downtime or something on the production should be up and running always. So the recommendation is to choose at least two EC2 machine on your production environment. So what will happen if any EC2 instance will goes down? Okay, let's say two EC2 instance are running in and at that very top there is a load balancer. All right, so if any hit comes to the load balancer, it will automatically divert the traffic to the EC2 instances. All right. So if any instances goes down, the load balancer have a CloudWatch alarm. So that CloudWatch automatically notify to the auto scaling, and auto scaling will launch a new EC2 instance for us. All right. So this is the concept actually. And similarly, the database and tags. So database, first you need to create a RDS instance, then only you can find out here from the drop down. If you don't have any RDS instance, you cannot find it out here in the drop down. Okay, one more thing, if you in your organization, for the production environments and for the other environments in your organization, if it is planned to use the RDS, right, then only you can update this configuration, that last one. And if your organization are not planning to use the RDS, and your organization are planning to use any custom database like the Redis or MongoDB or DynamoDB, any database, right, then you don't need to add anything here. All right. Similarly, in the last section, which is a tag, so Tag we are already discussed yesterday in the S3. So tag is just for recognizing your services, what are the services you are running in your AWS account, and you are getting billed for that particular service, right? So you can just name it like the EB demo, and if like organization name, okay, and some owner of your organization who are responsible for billing, emails, and everything, whatever the things you think which are compulsory thing, you can update it here in the tag section. All right, so this is all about the Elastic Beanstalk configuration. So let's create an app and see the logs. It will take some time to launch a complete end-to-end environment for you. All right. So first thing is Elastic Beanstalk. If you don't have any, S3 buckets already configured, so what it will do, it will first create a S3 bucket to store all your configuration part. All right. Then it will create a SNS topic. You can see here the SNS topic created. All right. So this particular SNS topic is responsible to send you the notification. Okay, you can see I am, since I was added my email ID there, so I get a notification from the Elastic Beanstalk, please subscribe the particular topic, right? So once I subscribe this particular topic, what will happen, whatever the action performed on the Elastic Beanstalk, okay, let's say Elastic Beanstalk is created, or the status of Elastic Beanstalk, it is healthy or not, everything is I am getting notified by the Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, so whatever we have chosen there in the configuration, you can see here we have chosen a security group, and we have chosen the like standalone environment for us. So that's why it is creating a standalone environment and attaching a IP. All right, you can see in the EC2 and S3. So you can see here a S3 bucket with the name Elastic Beanstalk UAssist, and the account number is created to store the data. So here is the Elastic Beanstalk bucket, and since I have created that bucket previously, so it is just referring this bucket to store all kind of data of the Elastic Beanstalk. Yes. Where? Okay. 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 This kind of message. Okay. First thing, if it is a Elastic Beanstalk environment, right, and some kind of dot Elastic Beanstalk is definitely some hidden configuration file storage, right? So definitely it will give you a message like the access denied. But if you want to access this dot Elastic Beanstalk configuration file, you need to first make it public. Okay, you need to first make it that particular object as a public, then only you can access it, but it is not recommended to make it public. Yes, so in any of your folder, you have created any S3 bucket and you put it any file or folder right inside the S3 bucket, and whenever you will get this kind of message like the access denied. All right, so here you can see there is a different files I have put it here. Okay, so you can see here all the files I can access only because the permission section, if you go to the permission section, I already make it public. Okay, so you can see here everyone have a read of permission on this object, so that's why everyone can access this particular application or file. You can see here this particular file is open. right? But if I will not make it public, means like make it public, that means you need to put a permission which should be read access for everyone. All right, then only yes. So what it will happen means like since you are putting any file here in any S3 bucket, all right. So as of now, since we are accessing this file directly, but in the real time scenario, like in any organization and inside the code, right, that particular link should be any button or something. All right. So you need to make this particular file, whatever file you want to, expose for everyone. Okay. You need to make public for that particular file only. All right. Any confusion? Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Whenever I give the link, then only anyone can access, right? Because nobody knows what is the name of this particular file, right? So that's why I need to put the name, particular name to access. Mhm. Yes. Okay. So you can see uh, whatever environment we have created, right? That particular environment means like inside the Elastic Beanstalk, that particular EC2 instance is currently up and running. All right. So that particular EC2 instance was launched by the EB, okay, for us, and you can see here the environment for the Elastic Beanstalk is created. If you click on the complete log, you can see all the logs, whatever action is performed by the Elastic Beanstalk. Also, let's check the email for this kind of status of Elastic Beanstalk. So you can see at every status we have a email, right? Means like the pending to initialize, pending to OK, environment is launched successfully, right? This kind of email alert you will get from Elastic Beanstalk. And once you have Elastic Beanstalk will give you a DNS name, okay, with the ending with elasticbeanstalk.com, a complete URL. So if you access this URL, you will get a Elastic Beanstalk application access. Okay, so since we was choosing the sample app, so this is the sample app which is provided by the AWS to access or test the Elastic Beanstalk at very first level. Now let's describe the other features of Elastic Beanstalk. So since we have created a application which is this, and we have also created a environment which is this, right? So the same configuration, the similar configuration and all, we can create a multiple environment. We don't need to create every time all the configurations. So how we can do this? If you go to the action button, okay, you can see, okay, let's go to the environment first. So in the environment, in the action button, you can see a option which is a save configuration, right? So save configuration is something like you want to create the another environment. Okay, let's say I want to create a QA environment, and that particular environment should be similar on the dev. Okay, so I can save this configuration. Demo app, this is only for demo. All right. So once we save this configuration, we can launch the same environment multiple time. If our like say if our environment is get deleted, right? Someone is deleted our environment or terminate our environment, then also we can launch the environment from the saved configuration. Okay, you can see here in the saved configuration section, all the configurations are saved. So once you launch, means like choose the configuration and launch the environment, it will again create a new environment for you. All right. And the other thing, whatever we have created are here. Okay, and you can see here in the events, if you click on the events, you will get all the logs, whatever the logs are pop up when the environment are performing any action. Okay, similarly you can manage your updates from here if you want to update your configuration and all. So how many times of you have changed your configuration and everything, you can get a complete data here. And alarm section, if you created any kind of alarm, right, then it will show here. In the monitoring, it will give you a basic monitoring, whatever the monitoring in the EC2 instances you are getting here, right? The same monitoring you are getting here also. Okay, the CPU utilization, the memory network and all. In the health section, you can get the information of the health, means like from what times my instance are healthy or not. Okay, you will get all the things here. Also, if you are not aware of the EC2 instance, which EC2 instance are running for that particular Elastic Beanstalk application, you can copy this EC2 instance ID from here, and in the dashboard of EC2 you can search it. Okay, so you will get a particular EC2 instance, whatever the Elastic Beanstalk is using. Since we have not enabled the logs, so it is not showing the logs here. But if you request the logs here, right, it will give you a complete EC2 log. Okay. uh, if you are not enabling the logs and you want to see the logs from the backend, means like log into the EC2 instance and you want to check the logs, you can also check the logs from there. So let's go to the console and see what are the logs which we need to check regularly at every deployment or at every creation of Elastic Beanstalk. Yes, it is just a tool similar to like Putty, okay, and some advanced features here also. So this particular tool is called MOBA Extreme. Here you can see the name MOBA Extreme. Let's check what are the inbound rules. Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Mhm. What kind of error? Okay, uh, that particular DNS you used in browser to copy and paste in the browser or in the putty or somewhere. Okay, So it might possible there will some network issues or something. First thing, we need to update our environment. Okay, so let's yum update. It is already updated. Let's check uh, things one by one. So first thing, I am going to show you Elastic Beanstalk home folder. If I'm saying the home folder, that means the deployment folder where Elastic Beanstalk copy all the applications. Okay, so path is var app current. This is the default path of Elastic Beanstalk home folder. All the codes, whatever the codes you are going to deploy on your Elastic Beanstalk, that particular code you can find it here only. Okay, so here we can see the sample app, whatever the sample application is running on our Elastic Beanstalk currently, it is available here. Okay, let's go to the logs. Inside the var log, you can see the logs which are for the Elastic Beanstalk. So whatever the action performed by the Elastic Beanstalk at very initial, like the launching the environment and deploying the application, everything is captured here in the ebactivity.log folder. Sorry, .log file. So you can see here all the logs, whatever the action performed by the Elastic Beanstalk, everything is here. All right. It is deploying the application, checking the health of the application. You can see here the application deployment sample app completed, right? All the things is available here only. And at the final, we are getting a deployment success. So once, let's say in any organization, once you get any error in deployment and anything, you can check this log and you will get a better picture of the error, right? What kind of issue it is to deploy the application. The next thing, we can check our image, what Docker image Elastic Beanstalk is using. Okay, so we can check it from here. You can see the Nginx and PHP image is running currently, and let's check the container status. So you can see here the containers, Nginx and the PHP containers are running, and the third container is the Amazon ECS agent container. So agent container is basically running because AWS Elastic Beanstalk once launch the EC2 instance, they always choose the, if you are using a multi-container environment, then it will always choose a ECS inbuilt image, right? So why they choose the ECS inbuilt image? Because since we are using a multi-container, right? So all the container descriptions and the container task definition and everything, whatever the action we need to perform to run multi-container, everything is managed by the Amazon ECS service, right? So that's why Elastic Beanstalk choose the ECS AMI for us. So since is a ECS AMI which we have in EC2 instance, so that's why a ECS agent is running here. Okay, so that particular ECS agent is also responsible to the communication between these Nginx and PHP, right, and some basic level of networking configurations and all. Okay. Yes, it is a default image. Yep. But if let's say you don't want to use the PHP and you want to use a multi-container environment, all right, for your organization, okay. So once you launch the environment here, uh, you can, var app current. So in this file, since we have, it's like this is a default file which is given by the AWS. So here you can define which image you want to run. Okay, here by default it is the in the multi-container. By default it is using the PHP image. Okay, so if you are running some Java image or something, you can put it here or use here. All right, great. So any question? Okay, so this is all about the basics of Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, so how Elastic Beanstalk is working and how you can create any application or environment inside the Elastic Beanstalk. So once you have done all your activity, please delete all your the demo and all the things from here. So that's why I'm also deleting it here. Mm, so let's go to the code pipeline. Okay, let's create a new pipeline. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. First, you need to create Elastic Beanstalk. Okay. Then only you can create a code pipeline. All right. One more thing, to create the Elastic Beanstalk, and you have seen the Docker run.json file needs some repository name. All right, some kind of repository, the ECR repository where your image should be there and all. Okay, so yesterday I have shared a video, not yesterday, day before yesterday, I have shared a video with you all. Yes, so on that video you can see everything is like all the steps performed to complete the project, where we are creating the ECR repository, we are pushing the code to the ECR repository and all. Okay, so how I think I already shared with you also. Let me share it again.